Thank you for coming to join me at my crafting table. My name is Rachel. Coco is my cat who on cue has just jumped up on the table. So today we're going to do a little knitting update. We'll do a crochet update. We'll talk about how we choose yarn for our projects. And I have a couple of sewing books up there that I'd love to share with you. And also I've had a new toy. And I've got a cup of coffee in a lovely Emma Ball mug. No, you can't have it. So I hope you've got a drink as well. And let's just settle down and enjoy having a chat for the next few minutes. I'm going to start with knitting today, I think. So if you've been here before, you'll know that I've been trying to knit colour work. And I've been working on my hat. It's called the Buggiflooer Beanie by Alison Rendell. And the kit came from LocketLand. I absolutely love the colours in there. Well, I've been working on it for a few weeks. So, did I finish it? Yes, I did. And I'll show you. My hat's finished. Shall I try it on? Oh, I think it's a bit too big. Oh dear, it did make me laugh. And I could have just thrown it in the naughty corner, but I didn't. I very carefully unravelled it. And here we are back at the start again on a smaller needle size. And I'm hoping, I'm not trying this round my head yet, but I'm hoping very much that it's going to make a hat that this time will fit me, ready for next year. Oh, mind my coffee, Coco. So, do you like my new project bag though? Look at this. This is from Crafty Cleggs Creations. When I saw Jeanette update her web shop, I had to have this because it's got cats on. Oops. And although I'm not a collector of cats, this is called Coco's crafting table. So we had to have a cat bag, didn't we? Do you like it? She probably likes what's inside because she does like the smell of proper wool. I was hoping to have something finished to show you this week, but again, I've got a small bit of knitting done. We've had a lot of life going on recently. Of course, we've had Easter and I've been seeing my granddaughters a lot, and I've had to do a couple of school runs recently for different reasons, and they've come to my house for tea. And of course, it all impacts on the time I've got for crafting. And you have to sit there and get in the way, don't you? But I'm making a pair of socks. I'm still trying to make a pair every month, although that's not particularly my challenge for this year. It was last year. And I'm making a pair of summer socks. So I'm making up this pattern from various sources. I'm using my vanilla sock recipe for the height of the cuff and the height of the rose of the leg, and for the foot I've taken the toe pattern from Kay Jones. I'm using her umbrella toe from Kay Jones's sock patterns, and this lacy pattern, can you see it? I've taken that lacy bit of pattern from the Winnick Mum More Super Socks book, because I wanted to keep the size of the sock and everything the same, because I know the sock fits me. And I thought for the summer, I wanted to try something lacy. Now, I suppose I could be taking that lace down the front of the foot, but that's a bit complicated for me currently. So I'm making the front of the foot plain, because it'll be inside my trainers anyway when I'm wearing it. So I am this time using a different sock yarn. I have used this before for some little shorty summer socks last year, and it's called King Cole Cotton Socks. It's 4-ply and it is 58% cotton. Sorry, Coco, you're joining it. Can't you see? Stop it. 58% cotton, 38% polyamide and 4% PBT, which I'm not sure what that means quite, but it's in 100-gram balls. I was hoping to get some pastel colours for the summer, but I seem to be only able to get these bright colours. So I got them last year and I used the white. I've got some green that I used last year as well, but I didn't want to not use the sock yarn I've got. I'm not particularly wanting bright blue socks, but there you go. And I was going to do I am going to do the cuff and the heel and the toe in this blue, but I wasn't sure when to start and stop the contrast heel, and I just was trying to get them done quickly. So basically I've done it for the heel flap and turning the heel, and then I've gone back to the white for the rest of it. You can see a bit of a jog there, look, where I've joined the blue back in, and I'm sure there must be a way of doing it where you don't get that. I mean, it's not on the other side, so I don't know why it's happened there. But anyway, I should be happy to try and carry on with this, but we are in the middle of the month, and really this sock ought to be done, especially since it's a short sock. But the pattern's an enjoyable pattern to do, so I'm enjoying that. What do you do when you're doing a sock pattern if it's one that you haven't done before? I tend to write mine out on, because I can't cope with a whole page of instructions, like lots of writing like this. So I tend to write my pattern out onto bits of cardboard like this. So I space it out nicely, write it out in pen, and I was going to type it, but I haven't got round to it yet. And then I do my tallying in pencil so that when I finish the sock, I can rub the pencil out and use it again. So it's going back to front, but that's the way that suits me. That's how I would normally do the leg. And I've kind of divided it into sections, being quite new to sock knitting. So I've got my cuff on this first page. Then on the second page, I've got the leg and the heel flap. And I've copied out the bit for the easy lace pattern there. And I've counted, rather than just doing it for so many inches, I've worked out how many rows I need to do of each part of the pattern. And I've written it down so I can tick it off each time. I just find it easier then when I come back to it to know exactly where I've got to. So I've got the heel turn on the next page, and I've got my gusset pick up. I've written out exactly what to do, what colour stitch markers I need to use and where I need to put them, and so on and so forth till I get to the end. And then I've written all about how you graft the toes at the end. So that's helping me a lot at the moment because I can't remember it all off by heart. So I was hoping to have something finished in crochet to show you this week, but again, it hasn't happened. So in this little project bag is one thing, and then my blanket on the chair there is the second. I am making a character from this book. Does anybody recognise it? The Chicken Run, hens, chickens, and it must be about a film called Dawn of the Nugget. I've never seen that film, but I do like the film Chicken Run. So when I saw this book, I thought a few years ago, I thought, oh, I'm going to have to get that. I've never made anything from it yet. I've started to make Ginger. And she's the heroine, I believe, of the Chicken Run stories. So I'm using Starcraft Special DK rather than a cotton yarn because I've got most of that and it seems to work. So I've got the body, I've got a head. I think I've got all the bits basically. I've got 2 wings, a tail, 2 feet, a little scarf and a little hat. So a little tiny comb to go on the top of her head. So yes, I've got to do the face, I've got to crochet around the mouth, I've got to put the beak on the beak, I've made the beak, all the bits. And then I'll have to just sew it all together and dress her. So hopefully she'll be finished by the next video. So we'll come on to the blanket. I have been enjoying making this blanket. This is the Coastal Retreat blanket by Eleonora Tulley of Coastal Crochet, and that's what it looks like. You can make it in different sizes. I've got a feeling I might have made it longer than it suggests, and it's not quite there. Where's the top? So I've got to this bit here with the biscotti colour. I'm using a mixture of Starcraft Special DK, Emu and Wendy Supreme. Is it Emu Classic DK, Wendy Supreme DK? Because those are the colours I happen to have. in my stash that are most like the colours on the photograph here. They don't match exactly, but they're most like those colours. And it repeats. I didn't even notice when I started the pattern that it repeats. So basically you've got from the biscotti up to the top of that green section, and then it repeats it all again and repeats it all again. And I didn't look to see how many times I'm supposed to repeat it, but I was aiming for the blanket to be about 120 centimetres long, and sometimes it's 90 wide, but I'm not sure how wide this one is. I haven't measured it just now. But anyway, that's my blanket so far. And look how naughty I am. I have not sewn in any ends. If I was making a blanket with granny squares, I would have probably sewn in all the ends by now, because I tend to do them as I go along. So because I was powering on to try and get this finished in as short a time as I could, I haven't done any of the ends. But luckily I don't mind doing ends once I get going. And if I've left them all like that, I tend to thread them through a little bit away from the edge, do the border around, and then finish them off, and it doesn't take long that way. So I think we should talk about choosing colours for your yarn project, for your blankets. You might knit blankets. Do you knit your blanket? Have you ever made a blanket? I know some of you have. And some of the lovely comments I've had have told me about different blanket patterns that I've never made before. And you'll see some that I haven't talked about yet in my next video as well. So, how do you choose your colours? What do you do when you're choosing? If there's a blanket pack available to go with the pattern you've chosen, do you buy the blanket pack? I used to. I did for quite a lot of my blankets. And really it's only been in the last year or so that I've started trying to use up colours that I'd already got in my stash. So if you don't buy the blanket pack, how do you decide? Do you look at the pattern on the screen and try and match up colours that way and guess what they are if you don't know already? Do you go to your yarn stash and see if you can find the colours in there? They might be there, but they might not. Do you get out your stash bag of scraps and see if you can find anything in here? Or even in the smaller bags? Or do you make yarn pegs with yarn wrapped round? I don't do yarn pegs, but I do lolly sticks and have a little bit of yarn wrapped round, and I will write down the name of the yarn, the colour and the number of the colour. So I've got all the yarns for Wendy's Supreme DK in this box here. I've got all my Stylecraft special colours on lolly sticks in here that I organised and glued them down to a sheet, and I wish I hadn't done that. I've got an old shade card from Stylecraft Special that doesn't have all the colours on, and I can't seem to get an up-to-date one that does. I've saved all my little boxes from my Emma Ball mugs. So in here I've made little tiny samples of the Wendy Supreme. So I've got the colours on here and the numbers on the sticks, but I thought it might be nice to have a little tiny sample crochet piece as well, so that I can put them together and then look up what they are. So I've got Wendy. I've got a box from a mug that I had with all my Highland Heathers samples in. I used to make them bigger, and then when I started collecting the Wendy yarn, I thought I won't use quite so much. And I've got King Cole Cotton Soft, all the colours you can get in that. I don't know, I seem to have wanted to have all the colours. It was, when I first made my first blanket, I was going to be a blanket designer. I do this. I'm going to do it. I was going to be a cake decorator when I learned to make cakes for the children, and I did it for a little while, but it didn't pay me to do it, so I didn't do it. But I always want to do something more with it, so I've got that. This is the box where I keep everything in, and I have a box full of Starcraft Special somewhere. Where's that? So of course these are all acrylic yarns for blankets. Here's my Starcraft Special. I've got them sorted into colours. So I'm using what do you call these things? Stitch savers. That's not what you call them, is it? Stitch holders. So I've got my blues and my greens and my pinks and all different colours on all these different ones, so that I can go into all of the samples that I've got. I think I've got all 120 colours in here. I haven't checked recently to see if there's any more, but I think there's 120 in there. And I can have a look and play with them and put them together and see if I like the look of things. Oh, can you hear Coco meowing? She's in the kitchen. I think she might want feeding. So that's how I choose my colours. Now I'm in a bit of a dilemma at the moment as well, because I need to make a blanket for a new baby. And the new baby is due in a couple of months' time. So yesterday I came across a pattern that I like for a crochet blanket, and it is by Sarah Jane Fragola from Bella Coco, and it's called the Flutter and Bloom blanket. Heard your name, didn't you? I said Bella Coco, not you. And that's what it looks like. It's mosaic crochet, and I thought it might make a nice baby blanket. I don't know whether to do all of the squares or just stop and do a square one with 9 squares in. It's mosaic crochet and you do it in squares, and I've never made a blanket like this before, so that intrigues me for a start, because you know I like to do something I've never done before. So you start in the middle of each square and then you work in a round to go around with the mosaic crochet. So I'm interested to know what happens on the back. Now the trouble with mosaic crochet blankets is they do have a right side and a wrong side, although I do believe, and you might have done this already, I do believe there is a way of making it so that it looks the same on the back as it does on the front, but I don't know that method, and I don't know if I could cope with a new method and a new pattern quickly enough to make a baby blanket for in a couple of months' time. Hello. So I don't know what to do. So I think what I'll do, I think the first thing I should do is to try one of the squares. There's only 2 different squares in it. I've printed all the instructions off. I can't show you, obviously it's a paid for pattern, but there are video tutorials on the Bella Coco website, and I know Sarah Jane does have some very good videos up there. This one says it's an intermediate level, so it will assume that you have a certain knowledge of crochet. And I looked quickly at the start of the video yesterday morning when I was in a rush to do things. I needed to get ready quickly. So what did I do but sit down and look at a crochet tutorial? Yeah, yes, that's what I do. But anyway, it looked as if you needed a certain knowledge of crochet to be able to do the blanket. Many designers will assume you're a beginner, and they will show you how to make a chain, and they will show you how to make a treble crochet or a double crochet, depending on if you're US or UK terms, and they will show you the stitch as you go along. This particular one assumes that you know the basics of crochet, and I did manage to follow the tutorial for the first couple of rounds. Yes, I even got some yarn out when I should have been getting ready to do something else, but anyway. That's what I did, and then I was in a rush. So I did the middle and decided I could probably do it. When you're making a mosaic blanket in stripes, you only use one colour at a time. And then because you're doing some stitches in front of the other, that's why you can see different colours coming out. And usually you'll do a straightforward row across and snip your yarn off at both ends. And then you're left with all the tails and you put them into an envelope border. Well, clearly if you're doing it in the round, you won't be doing that. And it looks as if you're going to be carrying the yarn colours up through the back. So I need to do one square, see if I like the look of the back, because if it's going to be given for a mum to use with a new baby, she's not going to be wanting to fiddle about particularly looking which is the front and the back of the blanket. I don't know if she wants to throw it down on the floor and put the baby on it. I don't suppose she'll worry about too much whether it's the front or the back, but I don't know. So I think I need to make up one square, then make my decision. So I'll probably use some of the colours that I've got in my stash. I'm just waiting for Coco to come and knock all these boxes down. I've put them on their side. If she knocks them off, there'll be a right mess there. I'll come back and tell you what happened and what I've decided to do. You might have heard me mention that I did quite a bit of sewing last year, and that I'm trying to think of something to make to depict my family tree. Well, I haven't got as far as designing anything properly yet, but I'm thinking about doing something in applique and stitch. So I thought I'd quickly show you a couple of applique books that I've got here. They're both from US authors. Applique, The Basics and Beyond. This one is by Janet Pittman, and this is a nice book. I've not used it. I've bought all of these things to do with different media while doing my crochet course. I've done the International Diploma in Crochet Part 1 and Part 2, and I wanted to do Part 3, which was called Mixed Media. So I bought all of the course materials. I hadn't a clue what mixed media meant, and when it talked about the fact that it could be doing applique, or it could be doing collage, or it could be any other kind of craft, because mixed media, I have to be able to use crochet and other media, and I have to be able to do them reasonably well. So I panicked, I gave up the course and thought I don't know anything else to do. So I've ended up buying loads of books basically and learning new techniques. So this applique book, there's some wool applique, which is all to do with felt, and I'm sorry it's very squeaky. Shows you some patterns for doing different flowers. So that's all very nice. Oh, squeaky book. And then this one, I might use some of the things out of here. 100 Whimsical Applique Designs. This is by Becky Goldsmith and Linda Jenkins. Becky Goldsmith does have a YouTube channel that I subscribe to, and forgotten who she was because something popped up on my thing yesterday and I thought, oh, what's that? Who's she? Have I subscribed to her? But clearly I had. And those are all the things on the back. And what I like about this book is there are lots and lots of templates in here. And so I'm thinking, if I'm putting things to do with people, there's some people. So there's all sorts of things in there that I might be able to use as part of my design. I might have to shrink them down a bit or adapt them slightly. But so that book looks as if it might be really useful for me. And then I just wanted to show you quickly two other books that I've got with some beautiful photographs in. And the embroidery that I did last year through Feather Stitch House introduced us to the technique of thread painting, and that was a leaf buds postcard that we made from the March tutorials that are available to buy on the Feather Stitch House website. And they were stitched using lots of different greens. I don't know if you could actually see, and lots of different browns. And she showed you stitch by stitch what to do, you know, how to draw it, where to put it. We got the template given to us as part of the package as well. So that was an introduction to thread painting using different colours. And I did my own little robin in December. This wasn't one of Feather Stitch House designs. This is one I got from a Christmas card that's got a little bit of thread painting on my robin and some little applique berries on there that I use different coloured reds. So that was mine. I found these books by somebody, a young lady called Emily Ferris, who's a UK designer and needle woman who does all this thread painting. Let me show you a couple of pages. So this one is called Through the Seasons Paint with Thread, and she's got a beautiful sunflower in there and some gorgeous toadstools, and just her use of colours makes it look as if it's been painted, you can see the light shining on them. It's just so gorgeous. And she gives you step-by-step instructions. And then I've got this one as well called In the Garden, Paint with Thread. And this has got that beautiful butterfly inside. And it's also got a bigger picture of the butterfly, I think. Some birds. There's the blue jay. It's got iron-on templates in the back of this book. There's a beautiful bumblebee in there. Oh, they're just gorgeous. And these are what I would aspire to. I'd love to be able to sew and embroider as well as the pictures in here. And I love having beautiful books like this so that I know what I'm aiming for. Just a few weeks before Easter, my 8-year-old granddaughter came to see me carrying a piece of cardboard with a beautiful bit of weaving on that she'd done at school, and she said, "Look, Nana, what I've made." I said, "Oh, that's beautiful. Are you going to take it off the cardboard?" No, she said, "I'm going to leave it on there," which was absolutely fine. And then the next time she came, she said, "Nana, can we do some weaving?" And I said, "Oh dear, I haven't got anything that we can weave onto. I haven't got any cardboard like that or anything." Well, you can guess what I ordered, can't you? Were you right? I ordered a weaving loom. And I've learned how to thread it by watching a video tutorial. But then I thought, well, that's no good. I didn't show it to them. I thought, that's no good because there's 3 of them and they'll all want to have a go. So I ended up buying 3 weaving looms that were not as complicated as that one. I think they're children's ones. And my 8-year-old granddaughter made that. Now, I don't think we've done it right because I hadn't watched any videos at the time. And so she's done it the same as we did with the cardboard and left all the ends. So what I think I'll probably have to do is knot all these together and then trim them off, because it's going to be a lot of knotting for a child to do. Anyway, that was my 8-year-old. My 7-year-old granddaughter made this one because I thought I can't just buy one, I'll have to buy 3. So she started making that one. And they found it very easy to take the yarn. This is using my scrap yarn, my stash yarn, yay! And also some yarn came with it. And then my 11-year-old granddaughter made that one. So she's chosen to use all the same thickness of yarn, and she's making rainbow patterns with hers. I don't know whether she started at the top or the bottom. I don't know which way up it goes really. Or whether it even matters. But then I watched a video and it says you need to have some space at the bottom to take it all off. So we've started weaving, they've started doing the stuff. I don't know how to do it next, so I'm going to have to watch some videos. So at the moment we've put it away until Nana has worked out what to do with it. I hope you've enjoyed seeing what we've been up to this last week or two. And next time should be the crochet blanket special part 2, and following that will be another chatty video like this one. So in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for commenting or liking my videos, and enjoy your crafting, whatever it is you're doing. You could let me know if you like in the comment, and take care of yourself. Bye.